On today's Saturday news, we've got more updates on the Backstage reaction to Swerve's big ol' new deal.
Got a WWE Star Not Happy with not being booked.
Why Ricochet left WWE for AEW.
And Nikki Garcia releases a statement following her husband's arrest. Are you ready? Are you ready for the news times? My name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling news. But first up, we need to talk about Swerve Strickland's contract stuff, because that was a story that, well, it dropped obviously around All In when that was going down, but in the wake of that, it's got a lot of, we've had a lot of reaction to it via reports, just like people within WWE were at the center of these reports. It was said, I believe, that this was bad for the sport, was the apparent reported reaction within WWE, because they were like, oh, you're giving people money like on that kind of tier. If you're giving them this massive money, it's going to affect everybody. It's almost like it's going to make all these wrestlers get paid the amount of money that they should be earning because they're the ones taking the bumps. We'll get there. But that was a big thing, obviously, and now Fightful have gone a little bit deeper on it. Like since the report dropped, the WWE were a bit like about it all, and Fightful have said that when they have spoken to people within WWE about it like being bad for the sport and all that stuff, they've not really heard much about that in a way. Like they've not really heard from the people they've reached out to. I think Sean Ross Sapp put it best. Like he said, I've reached out to WWE in both an official capacity as well as two others at the top of the company, and didn't hear back today regarding word of their feelings on Swerve's contract. In speaking with over a dozen wrestlers across all top companies, the support was unanimous. And then the actual Fightful report went in a bit more detail. It said, like, in reaction to hearing this, like obviously the report that had come out that WWE was saying it was bad for the sport, someone within AEW actually pointed the finger at one specific name that hasn't been verified yet. They're still working on trying to verify who that name was. So they were like, we know who said this is this person. So we'll figure out who that is maybe at some point in the future. One talent within WWE, so WWE talent, said, I myself haven't heard that in regards to the bad for the sport stuff, but whether or not it was said, anyone thinking wrestlers will take less money is out of their minds. When new TV deals are being announced, sellouts and record numbers are being bragged about. Like, the business is as hot as it's ever been. Why wouldn't you capitalize on that and go, well, we're a big old part of this. Like, I want to get paid, I want to get money. And Swerve Strickland, of all people right now, has been one of AEW's megastars, one of the true MVPs of the last year, at least, like maybe even before that. Like, he has been one of the guys. We were there at All In. The reaction that guy was getting, I was like, oh, it's a superstar there. That's amazing. He's just, yeah, megastar. I had the person next to me, and really digressing here, but I had the person next to me who wasn't a massive wrestling fan, and they were like, who is that guy? Wow. So there you go. That's just the way it is. The specifics of that deal itself aren't really available right now, but it is being said that he's probably going to be earning along the same lines of like a Mercedes money and Okada. So decent money, deserved money as well. So yeah, also it said that this is said to be near what many long-time WWE veterans are earning on their most recent deals with WWE. And yeah, the AEW guys have less dates required of them for their same money contracts right now. So it looks like you're getting a better deal if you're in AEW, in other words. So yeah, that's a lot of the information on that, on the Swerve stuff. It's also said that, because obviously Daniel Garcia has been tied to this a lot because his contract's been spoken about, and they said that from, well, it seems like across the board really, that everyone really expects him to stay with AEW. It was a bit of uncertainty before he popped back up at All In, but then since that, it looks now like he is going to be staying with AEW, even though he had talks and it looked like WWE were trying to bring him over. He's now seemingly going to be staying in AEW there. But that's a lot of information, that, Phil. So I'm just going to, see what you think about the Swerve stuff in particular, the reaction to that. Yeah, so the big money contracts from AEW feels like a bit of like a statement of intent, almost, about like what they want to do going forwards to try and keep the wrestlers like on their side, kind of thing. But like, Swerve massively deserves it. He's built himself into a massive commodity over the last year. His title run has been wonderful. His match against Bryan Danielson, like, I can't overstate how important he was in that match as well, to be the sort of antithesis of what that Bryan Danielson character was.
He was a monster. He was a monster,
exactly,
that
to
night.
make that work, you need the the other side of it than Bryan Danielson like screaming "I love you" at his family. Like you need both sides of that to make it work, and it really worked. It was so good. So yeah, 100%. Go get your money. You absolutely massively deserve it. And if anything is coming from WWE about ruining the business by actually paying people, the WWE have a long record of being the worst payers in this entire like sports industry. If you look at all of American sports, WWE is right down at the bottom. Even if you compare it to the UFC, WWE pays comparatively like percentage of profits to their wrestlers much less than any of the UFC guys get, than anyone in the NBA, anyone in the NFL get. It's kind of ludicrous, and it's about time they actually started paying people properly if they want to keep up this independent contractor ruse that they've been managing to keep going for so goddamn long. So hopefully these kind of big money contracts from like Tony Khan and AEW and like this and like Mercedes and Okada and things just kind of give WWE the nudge that crap, we're gonna have to actually start paying people properly here, because it's all never gonna work out best for the wrestlers involved, and they're the ones we care about, not the big gigantic company's bottom line at the end of the day.
Very true, well said.
So yeah, all good stuff. But moving it back over to WWE, some talent over there not quite as happy as Swerve Strickland is with his big money contract over at AEW. So this is coming from Tegan Knox. She put out a tweet that was it was a quote tweet about WWE's announcing the Speed tournament, but it's like a Speed women's tournament. And she did a quote tweet to that just saying, "Can't even get booked on a tattoo show, let alone entered into the Speed tournament." So Tegan Knox not happy with her position in WWE right now. It's not the only thing she's done kind of in recent times. About a month ago, she put out an Instagram post that just says, "Brightly lit, hardly working, fighting from underneath." She's kind of been niggling, but this is the first time she's just gone out and out saying kind of what's going on, can't get booked. She was last on TV in April the 1st, and when she lost in a like 6-woman tag thing to Damage Control. Worked some live shows around that time, and has worked like 3 SmackDown dark matches in sort of June, July, and that's about it. So it's a bit strange what's going on with Tegan Knox. Her entire run with WWE's kind of been a little bit stop-start and not quite there. I'm definitely going to be biased towards her because she was our WCPW, like our first women's champion, and she was lovely in her time in WCPW. So I'm definitely going to be biased towards her. But WWE, what the hell are you doing? But Tegan Knox.
I know.
Basically what I'm saying.
I only ever hear like nice and good stuff about Tegan Knox. She seems like a lovely person. Like when she's had such bad luck. Whenever she started picking up momentum in NXT, and knees were just battered. It's just I really have a lot of sympathy there. So.
It's also an odd one because it always, like, Triple H always seemed really high on her, like, throughout the NXT run, and, like, stuck with her through the, like, injuries in NXT and, like, made a big deal of her returning. So you'd think that when Triple H is back in control, that she'd have a bit more of a place on the roster.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, she seems like somebody who's just there, ready-made to be like this valiant babyface, this underdog that you could just throw into one of these programs and build towards. If they had another UK show in the next like couple of months, whatever it is, a pay-per-view, you could easily get Knox in there as like our own crowd, whatever it is, like favourite. You could do that quite easily. So keep my fingers crossed that this doesn't mean like we're tiptoeing towards maybe an exit at some point. But Tegan Knox is the kind of wrestler that would do well, I think, in a lot of different companies right now. So again, not too worried about that in this bold new world that we live in, but I think she likes being within WWE, so I think it's a shame that she's not being used and even booked on a tattoo show. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that one. But somebody who has obviously gone that route in terms of like looking at their place within WWE and going, "Oh, not quite happy here, I'm going to jump over to somewhere else," is Ricochet. That's a nice little segue there. Ricochet obviously popped up at All In. Again, we were there. If there was a roof over Wembley that night, it would have come off when Ricochet came out, because we were like, "What? What's happening?" And a lot of people were like, "Right, it's going to be interesting hearing the stories of why he's chosen to do this." Like a lot of people probably just assumed he's going to go to this company because they're going to let him just be flippy and crazy and do whatever he wants, and it's kind of the reason, to be honest. Like he explained it within an interview with Sports Illustrated. There's a lot of quotes here, so I'm just going to rifle through them all really quickly. So he obviously knows a lot of people within AEW from his time like being on the independents for the years before he was in WWE, and I think that was a really appealing thing to him, being able to work with those people again. Like, because if you've had a lot of good times, you've done some crazy stuff with people, you're going to be like, oh, I can do the crazy stuff again, but we're going to be on like a national stage now. That sounds great. So he said, honestly, the biggest reason he signed with AEW is that I've been doing this for a long time, 21 years this year, and for me, the time when I was like having the most fun in my career was when I was like traveling the world with those crazy lunatics in the back there. It's literally the time when I was having the most fun, despite what people think. It's not always been bad for Ricochet. I've had fun my entire career, no matter where I went. I've always had fun. That's not going to change. But when I was having the most fun was when I was hanging out with these guys and traveling the world with these guys and having matches with these guys and creating the art that I really like to make for, I feel like the Ricochet fans out there who's been, you know, I guess just missing the opportunity to shine. A bit of a strange sentence there, but he's saying that he wants to really give those massive Ricochet fans that have not seen him doing his crazy stuff for really the last couple of years, that he wants to give them finally a bit more of that, which is all good for me. And another thing he said, in terms of joining AEW, he felt like he'd plateaued a little bit, like within WWE over the last couple of years, like just hit maybe a bit of a ceiling. He said it was definitely a big decision, but honestly, yes and no, like in regards to whether it was a hard decision. Obviously, yes, it was hard because it's a place I've been for the last 6 years. I've got some really good connections, some friends, and some good memories there, so it was definitely hard, but at the same time, no, it wasn't, because I'm a person who has always changed. I've always done stuff, so that's something that I was looking forward to, and I just saw what AEW was doing. I saw the guys and girls over there and what they were doing, and it just seemed fun. You want to be a part of it. Now that I'm able to be a part of it and hopefully help move it forward into the next generation, it's going to be awesome. So as hard of a decision as it was, I knew it was the right decision. Thank you for putting up with me there. That was a lot of Ricochet talking, but it just looks like he's seen the excitement that's been going on outside of WWE right now and gone, fancy a little bit of that. It's very similar to what we heard Edge, Adam Copeland, like talk about when he went over to AEW. He was like, oh, I kind of want to go and play in that playground for a little bit. It looks a bit crazy over there. Like the creative freedom looks good. I think Salty even now wants to go as well. He's just said, this sounds pretty good, this AEW stuff. I'm going to go and jump off a ladder.
Big Ricochet fan.
A big Ricochet fan, yeah. I'd watch that tag team. That'd be great. So yeah, that's his reasons for doing it. Very understandable, to be honest.
Yeah, don't blame him at all, really. The moment at All In was great. Fascinated to see what, I mean, they're blatantly going to do it, obviously, Ricochet versus Ospreay at some point, what that looks like with sort of the modern day versions of Ricochet and Ospreay compared to what they used to do back in the day.
They teased it on Dynamite, didn't they? We were like, oh, we're going there straight away. Oh, no. It's crazy.
It's going to happen at some point, and they're probably going to sell a big pay-per-view off the back of it, I imagine. But yeah, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Like, if a bunch of your friends are there and you like feel like the schedule's going to be like working for you and you get a bit more freedom, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Why the hell not at the end of the day? Spread your wings. And yeah, figure things out. But like, speaking of All In and sort of that thing, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that came to our live show on the weekend, live at Wembley-ish. We somehow managed to get 410 people in that building, which is insane. We were not expecting that many in any way, shape or form, so that was very good. Thank you very much. And it was just really, really good fun the entire weekend. Everyone that came to say hi, everyone that was there for the like ups and downs and what went downs outside of the venue, thank you so much, everybody, for just being lovely. It was great.
The best thing I've ever done with this company. I had so much fun. It was lovely seeing everyone. You were just all really cool, and it just makes this job that much more fun. Really, there's no other words for it. It just made it really fun. I was like, oh, this is great. It's been around our people, and hopefully we can get more of that kind of stuff in the coming months and years. Yeah, see you again soon.
Absolutely. It was quite good. Like, we were putting out the chairs and we're like, oh, that's a lot of chairs, and then we were like, oh, that's like half the amount of chairs we need. Oh my god, we need so many more chairs. And then you start to realize how many people this is, and then like get a bit nervous. But then as soon as people started coming through the door and started chatting to people, it's like, oh, everybody's lovely. This is fine. This is our people. This is fine.
And then somebody just opted to, you know, shave his beard and wear some silly pants and go and run around like a lunatic. You'll see when this bad boy drops on YouTube. It was
when in Wembley.
It was a time. It was a time. Yeah.
But finishing up, we reported on this on the news yesterday. But the Nikki Garcia situation with her husband Artem Chingvintsev, he was arrested the other day, on Thursday, I think, on domestic violence charges. The full story still hasn't really come out yet. TMZ kind of have a update on it saying that Artem rang 911 asking for medical assistance, claiming that Nikki was throwing shoes at him, but then he rang up again to cancel the call. So they cancelled the ambulance portion of it, but the police policy is to follow through on any calls like this regardless of what happens, and so the police went there and later arrested him on a felony charge of domestic violence. And to get that, there has to be like visible signs of injury as well. So it's all a bit quiet about what exactly happened in the minute, because the victim has specifically asked the police for full confidentiality on this, and Nikki Garcia has also released a statement that we have just saying that this is a private matter and Nikki asks for privacy for her and her family at this time. So details are likely to be slim on this until Nikki is at a place where she's ready to speak out about it and like say what happened or what went on. So yeah, it's all a bit of a strange story. We obviously wish the absolute best for Nikki Garcia. It sounds like a crappy situation, but yeah, like I say, she asked for privacy at this time, and so yeah, that's about all we can do.
Yeah, got to respect that and just send, like you said, best wishes to her. It's a really sensitive subject, obviously. Not the kind of one where you want to be making assumptions and jumping to conclusions at this point. And we just need to see what happens, how this develops in the coming days, weeks, whatever it is, and yeah, just go from there. So just sending all the best to Nikki Garcia right now.
Absolutely. But that is the video for today. Thank you very much for joining us, and again, thank you for coming to our live show. It was brilliant. But you can follow us over on Twitter if you want. You can follow me at Phil My Chambers. You can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04,
and you can click this video in the screen somewhere to continue on your YouTube day. Ups and Downs for SmackDown is coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that, and most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye bye.